Hi. My name is Calvin. Calvin said Laing. I'm 33 years old, and this is not a dating app. That's how it feels like. I was brought up in Drylor, the suburbs of Edinburgh. It's Edinburgh North area. Went to Edinburgh College of Art and studied sculpture, but I realised there's a lot of limitations to this way of working. Apart from when your tutors would tell you to make your sculptures larger or bigger, it didn't quite do it for me. I felt like it was quite limited, so therefore I decided to move much more into performance.
Calvin and back in the gym. Intro. Yes, indeed, as suggested by the title, I am here, back in the gym, as of January 2022. Dry January, a frugal January, a healthy January, and an entirely new me kind of January. Strong, sensible, stable, stunning.
Performance was a way of immediacy, something vulnerable, something active, exciting, happening. Can't actually remember the first time I performed in front of an audience, apart from it being someone else's work. There was no sort of time to look at your phone or even look away. You were just captured. It's not just you as a performer, it's also like the space around you interacting with the environment or the environment interacting with me. I often think a lot about environments, awkward rooms, spaces and places, playing with the architecture of any space, what it signifies and how we are expected to behave, and then trying to pull that apart and reimagine it, if that makes sense.
Part 1. I am now in the male changing rooms. Among them, although not one of them, I'm doing my usual sauna session. It's fairly dark, it's fairly hot. You can remain unnoticed, anonymous, and blend into the background.
When I start writing scripts, it's all small interactions, little things that just makes me think like, oh, that's interesting. I play a lot in fiction and fact, and sometimes imagine, oh, that would be quite funny if you were to say that or do that, how would they react? And then sometimes it's actually a genuine thing that happened. So it's a kind of mix between reality and fiction to create something that's, I don't know, quite surreal. Being dyslexic, it was liberating to create my own language, my own scripts, being able to choose my own language, my assemblage of language, and I guess the syntax within that, the relationships, playing around and getting it wrong.
Outside the sauna, it clearly states, written rules, that all appropriate swimwear must be worn at all times. Also, it states any inappropriate behaviour will be reported immediately to the police. It is Britain after all, so rules apply.
Being dyslexic, you're like, why am I so slow, or why can't I engage with the material like the other kids and stuff like that? And then you have to stand up to do that again as performance. You're trying so hard to keep up with the text, and when your bit would come, you just say it as best as possible, and then you'd be lost again within it. I wouldn't be able to just like have this fluid state or something like that, and not all that pressure. You just kind of buckle under. Then developing scripts and like syntax, you were like able to like navigate that however you wanted, and you couldn't get anything wrong. As you get older, you're able to express yourself and take ownership in ways to feel uncomfortable. In performance, you're able to put yourself out there, and that fear gives it something a bit more special.
Part 3. I decided to go and get changed, and beside my locker space, there's this man who started spraying Lynx deodorant all over himself. In actual fact, all over me, and all over everywhere, the entirety of this space. I'm gonna have an asthma attack, I thought to myself. It was so intense, suffocating, and overwhelming.
With a live audience, you can engage much more in spaces that are unfamiliar. especially awkward rooms. It provokes a real human emotion. So it's like a kind of collective sharing of a human experience, because it's nice to be connected, isn't it? I think performance can get a bit of a hard time because people are just, I'm going to be called up to say something or do something, because we've all got probably anxiety or stress around these environments, because when you don't know what's going to happen. That's why usually before the performances I kind of deliver it in a way of how long it's going to be, kind of what it might involve, and it's never going to involve direct audience participation, although I might move around the audience because I'm interested in different locations in space and changing that dynamic. Awkwardness is a nuance of human experiences that we all have, how we act and all these social pressures, and managing that and trying to fit into it, and you're awkward because I might have got this wrong or right, or I don't know, because it's like, is that the right rule or the wrong rule? Am I behaving correctly in this environment or not? It can get quite a lot in everyday life, so why not lighten it up and laugh at it?
So I'm back in the male changing rooms, and I decided to approach this man who was sat opposite me in the lockers. So I said to him very casually, so I kind of wanted to fit in. I said to him, "Good session." He was like, "I gave it a go. You?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just a beginner." Then he replied with, "Aren't we all kids?" I'm 33 years old, I thought to myself. Exit scene.
Performance gives you an element of control, and it gives you that space for saying whatever you want in any form you want. I think that's quite interesting about performance, because you can be someone else as an alter ego, but give it in a way that gives yourself a voice.
I really like this thought from this book. The book's called Undesigning the Bath by Leonard Cohen. I'll just read it out to you. It's a little excerpt. A communal bathing situation where everybody is equally conscious of not knowing the rules can cause a momentary breakdown of social hierarchy, which is actually a delightful sensation. But quickly, confusion and discomfort replace delight when notions of courtesy, modesty, privacy, and propriety are individually addressed in conflicting ways.
I don't know. Maybe I hit some stuff. Did I start arching too much? It's hard to get to. Can I just see how that looks, just to get an idea of like stance of the